This is a public service announcement brought to you in part by the 64-Bit Legends. The views and topics expressed here are totally fucked and are not necessarily the views of anyone. However, the topics and suggestions that appear on this podcast are not to be taken lightly or seriously. Voters should not partake in the listening of this podcast with laces in their shoes. The 64-Bit Legends are not responsible for your political actions. Upon downloading this podcast, you've agreed not to try to read more into anything that is said. Anything else?
Yeah, fuck politics and don't do drugs.
64-Bit Legends. Welcome.
Legend of the game like GoldenEye, I'm more than right.
Yeah.
The perfect dark is dreams that seem to come to light. 64-bit, the shit, it's as real as it
Yeah.
gets. We can
Yeah.
talk sports, games, and music, take your pick. Point with the news, pull up and crack a brew. Smoke one with the crew,
Smoke.
tune in and take a view.
Watch.
We here to raise the bar from the lowest mark. Sit your ass down and listen, it's time for the show to start.
Show the stuff.
Welcome to the 2020 64-Bit Legends presidential debate with the Democratic representation from Bobby Biden and the Republican representation from Melvin J. Trump. Gentlemen, glad to have you here. How do you guys feel?
I'm excited. I can't be any more excited. I am actually so filled with excitement that I think I may have had I had a heart attack, but it's back on track now. We're good. So I think I'm going to sweep this debate. I think it's going to be an amazing debate. It's going to probably be one of the best debates of all time that you may have ever seen in your life. So strap in for this debate because I will be winning.
Well, Mr. Monster, I just would like to thank you for being in office today. Last time I was in office with a black man, we'd done great things. I also have my vice president over here, Miss Kamala. Mr. Trump over here is as you know, a WWE Hall of Famer, so I needed to have a WWE Hall of Famer myself as the Ugandan warrior, Kamala. So I appreciate you being here.
Excellent. Well, I appreciate that as well. So we're going to just start with the first question here directed at you, Senator Biden, Mr. Bobby Biden over there. The first question dealing with the coronavirus being, with the coronavirus pandemic still being prevalent, and even our buddy here, Mr. Melvin J. Biden, contracting it. What is your plan to not only combat this pandemic, but end this pandemic?
First of all, I think that's Mr. Trump, because the last time I checked, I'm Mr. Biden. Okay, well, when if I'm elected president, COVID-19 may just disappear. Cardiff gave us intelligence that a WAP may be the cure for this coronavirus if we need one. And I also have a plan of I was talking to Mr. Trump's good friend Vincent Kennedy McMahon, and we do have a Samoa Joe project in effect. So we may take the DNA of Samoa Joe and mix it with the healthy people to develop more healthy people and get rid of this COVID-19.
Mr. J. Trump, you're allowed 2 minutes.
I don't like that. Bobby Biden over here is working with my nemesis, Vincent Kennedy McMahon.
He's your friend.
He was not a friend. I beat him in a hair versus hair match, and as you remember, I still have my hair. So we all know how that came out. And second of all, COVID-19. We're going to end COVID-19. We're working with the top minds in all of the technology and health industry. We're going to be able to put them together. There's going to be a 4-letter word that you're going to be familiar with come 2021, and that's going to be chips. That's chips. CHIPS. Chips are going to be crafted and made by the top leading scientists and billionaires such as Bill Gates. And we will start implanting chips in people's brains so they could also not catch COVID-19 and possibly have other amazing, fantastic benefits that these companies will be able to provide. We're going to be creating jobs. We're going to be creating jobs with these chips. And you speak of, I don't like him. I don't like that Biden is already starting with the Samoa Joe project. Samoa Joe will be in my cabinet, all 17 of them. So, I mean, it may be a Samoa Joe civil war heading forward. But you know what? I don't want to threaten violence here. I am not I'm not ready to go to war quite yet. I think we could solve this diplomatically. And what are you sleeping over there? You get a little sleepy?
No.
You a little sleepy?
No. It's
You
just
taking a little nap?
It's close to bingo.
Oh,
all right?
it's bingo time?
It's close to bingo.
Chips. Remember chips.
Well,
Chips.
Well, I think
Chips.
Well, I think that was a great answer. Moving on to the second question, kind of piggybacking off of the first one with the coronavirus pandemic
Chips.
being as rampant as it is in the United States and the world amongst us, with unemployment reaching record lows this year because of the coronavirus pandemic. The first question directed at you, Senator Melvin J. Trump, President Melvin J. Trump.
Yeah, I am the president.
How are you going
I'm
to
the-
create? How are you going to create new jobs for Americans amidst this coronavirus pandemic?
As I've said, we're going to create jobs in America. We're going to keep America the great and powerful country that it is. We're going to be able to create jobs. Now, a lot of people ask, how are you going to be able to create these jobs? And that's why I have elected Samoa Joe to join my cabinet on the, in protest to what Vincent Kennedy McMahon thinks that he owns the rights to the Samoa Joe DNA, which we will talk about later in this debate, because I have a real strong beef with Sleepy Bobby over here. Look at him. He can't even keep his eyes open. He's just taking a nap. Just, hey, why don't you have a dream? Why don't you have a dream about how great America's going to be when we have 17 million Samoa Joes working in factories, being able to produce the chips that we're going to need in order to stop this COVID-19 pandemic. And we're going to take back China. We're going to be able to take it back from the Chinese, and we're going to be able to take over their factories and with a Samoa army. An army of Samoans. That's what we're going to be doing. And while my competitor here is sleeping, dreaming of wrestling fan fiction, I'm over here trying to create jobs for the American working people, because that's what I believe that we're all winners here. There are no losers in America except for Bobby Biden, who's a big fat loser.
Mr. Biden, you're allowed 2 minutes. Mr. Biden. Mr. Biden, you are.
Hey, yeah? Huh?
You're allowed 2 minutes to answer the question related to how jobs are going to be created amidst the coronavirus pandemic.
What job?
Jobs in general.
No, I have a job. I'll be president.
He's not going to be president. That's a lie.
The question
His
being,
job will be making license plates in jail, because you're going to be going to jail for sleeping on the job.
I have a job, Mr. Monster.
I understand, but the question being, with unemployment rate reaching record lows throughout this year due to the coronavirus pandemic, how are you going to create new jobs for Americans?
Well, President Trump has handled this corona pandemic completely wrong. He knew that he had no chance at sacrifice.
I had a 33 and a third chance of sacrifice.
You're not a genetic freak.
I am a genetic freak.
You're not a genetic freak. And as Hillary Clinton pointed out, you have small hands.
My hands are huge. I have huge hands.
And
Mr. Biden, these answers don't coincide to the question that was asked.
what was the question again?
The question being,
I had a job. I have a job.
I understand
Yeah,
that
your
Mr.
job's going to be catching these hands. These big hands.
The question being, Mr. Biden, with the
Healthcare.
with the unemployment rate reaching record lows through, let's just go to the next question. The next question being on foreign affairs. It's going to be on you, Senator Biden. What is your policy on foreign affairs and strengthening our allies' relationships with our allies, as if you are to be elected president of the United States?
Well, first of all, I'd like to say that my running mate is the Ugandan warrior. So foreign affairs is no issue for us. And I would like to quote something my mother used to tell me. My mother always told me that foreigners are like a box of chocolates. You never know which one you're gonna get. Mr. Gorbachev, tear down this wall.
I understand your answer. However, I don't think that really applied to the question. That said,
He's just sleeping on the job already. He doesn't even have the job. He's already sleeping on the
Mr.
job.
Gorbachev, tear down this wall.
Gorbachev, he's sleeping too. Everybody's sleeping. You're sleeping. You're asleep.
I'm not asleep. I'm wide awake, and I'm wide aware.
gentlemen, let's just try to stay on topic here. The topic being, of course, foreign affairs. President Trump, you are on the clock.
Listen.
For the last,
Wait, did I get my 2 minutes?
you had 2 minutes.
What question
you
was
were
this?
sleeping during those 2 minutes.
What question was
Took
this?
a 2-minute nap.
The question was, what was going to be your policy on foreign affairs and how you would strengthen our allies?
We're going to take out all the Carolinas. We only need one. It gets confusing down there. One Carolina, one Dakota. We're going down to 48 states, and we're taking out France.
Are you aware that, well, it was on President Trump, and two, those are pieces of the United States.
I want to respond back to my opponent here. I mean, the Dakotas are a great set of states. These are probably some of the best states I've ever seen in my life. I think I've built great relationships with the Dakotas, North Dakota, South Dakota, Dakota Fanning. They were all great Dakotas. In fact, I think we could make more Dakotas. I think we need 17 more Dakotas all across the northern Midwest of the United States.
These are lies.
I think we can fit at least 23 Dakotas in the territories that we own in Canada.
These are lies. These are lies. The American people have to realize that for the last 4 years, we've been lied to about how many Dakotas and how many Carolinas and how many of them matter. We combine those, we get more electoral votes, and the Democratic Party becomes united and a united front in front of Canada and the rest
Mr.
of the
Biden,
world.
There's 3 Dakotas. We started with 3 Dakotas. We're gonna have 17 Dakotas by 2024. We're gonna have them all along the border and we're gonna build a nice big Dakota wall up on the border of Canada. We're not going to let those dirty Canadians come in here with their raping ways and their Canadian milk and all that other stuff that they do up there. I don't know. They're savages up there.
Wait.
Savage Canadians. We're not going to let them in here.
I went to Delaware State with Neil Diamond.
You
while
didn't
he
go
was-
to Delaware
I
State.
went to Delaware
You
State.
didn't go to
I
Delaware
went to
State.
Delaware State.
You didn't.
I went to Delaware
Gentlemen.
State, and I went with Neil Diamond while he was writing Sweet Carolinas. All right? We only need one.
I don't think Senator Biden, rather, again, you agreed to let the president speak along with yourself uninterrupted. Along with that,
My nap interrupted it. All right?
You know what? Your nap interrupted the country, and that's why while you're sleeping, Antifa's going to be out there letting Canadians in through the border constantly through the Dakotas.
Who's Antifa?
Listen, Antifa is your aunt.
Is she the Queen of Soul?
She is. However, back to foreign affairs, Senator Biden, you mentioned that you would you would get rid of, rather, the Carolinas and the Dakotas. Sir, those are 2 states of the country, of the United States. They're not even foreign.
We're the United States, not the United States of the Dakotas.
I think he's in the wrong direction. He doesn't even know what state he's in now. He's in a state of delirium. That's what he's in right now because he doesn't
You
even
don't
know.
tell me what state I'm in.
Listen, here's my plan for the Dakotas. We're going to be able to solve this Dakota issue right now. We're gonna take Montana and we're gonna split that into 4 more Dakotas. This is gonna be the United States of Dakota, and we're gonna be able to now in terms of foreign affairs, because like I said, we're gonna take back China from the Chinese, and we're also gonna take back Russia from the Russians. There's gonna be 26 more Dakotas in the Russian territories in Siberia. Siberia will be known as the United Dakotas of the Dakotas.
In my 47 years of politics, Joe Montana was the best quarterback I've ever seen.
Montana was a piece of shit. He doesn't know what he's talking
So you do not
about.
take the Montanas and make them Dakotas because that will be
Gentlemen.
worthless.
I told Joe Montana to get out, and he'll never see that piece of shit again.
Gentlemen, I do appreciate your answers. We are going a little bit over on the time. Before we continue, I just wanted to let you and all of our listeners know that today's episode was brought to you by Monica Lewinsky's School of Head Medicine. Having problems staying focused at work? Are you falling asleep and need to pick me up? Enroll today at Monica Lewinsky's School of Head Medicine. Enroll now at www.ididnot.edu. Again, the number is www.ididnot.edu. Classes start at just $40, and you can get your credit. So I'm sorry, classes are ranging between $40 and $65 per credit hour. Register now at www.ididnot.edu. So continuing on with the 2020.
I need that.
You should, and I actually use it myself. It's great behind closed doors. But continuing on with the 2020 debate for the 64-bit legends and the presidential and all that stuff we mentioned before. Question number 4, and this is a very a question that a lot of folks, the listeners and the watchers at home, are looking for an answer for. With everything that's happened so far this year and last year as well, dealing with human sex trafficking, both of you are aware of the human sex trafficking crisis that is running rampant in the United States. Melvin, you've actually been affiliated with the late Jeffrey Epstein.
I don't know Jeffrey
and Bobby
Epstein.
is you as well. What are your plans to stop such men as him and other organizations alike?
I don't know Jeffrey Epstein. I knew James Epstein. He was a great guy, great plumber. He was able to really fix my plumbing issues in my third home that I own in northwestern Dakota, and we were able to really saw those as Jeffrey Epstein, from what I understand, was a bad man. He's a bad man that needed to be put away, and someone put him to sleep, just like I'm going to put my opponent to sleep here at Sacrifice. And let me tell you this, as far as human trafficking is going on here. We need to take back the Samoa Joe project is coming, but it's going to be whether or not it's going to be implemented the best way. I think my opponent Bobby Biden has got the Samoa Joe project all wrong. I think he's wanting to traffic these Samoa Joes, as I'll call them, and I think that if not implemented properly with the right barriers in mind, I'm looking at I believe we should be taking part of the Dakotas with the Samoa Joes and building a wall, a big, beautiful wall around them to make sure that they're not trafficked and used in disparaging ways. I believe that we need to bring power to the Samoa Joes, and they're going to be the future. And, by the way, let me say this. China, we're putting in chips. We are putting in chips right now. We're going to keep America great again. It's going to be the best America that you've ever seen in your life. And you're going to be, and God damn it to hell, if anybody tries to get in my way, I will be putting chips on everybody.
It's 2 minutes, Mr. President. Thank you for your answer. And just to kind of trail back here to what you said before we let Mr. Biden speak, you mentioned that you had no affiliation with Mr. Jeffrey Epstein, but there's numerous pictures of you, your wife, and his associate as well running rampant throughout the internet, along with looks like you being on his flight manifest as well.
That's all fake news. That is fake news. That is liberal media run amok with fake news.
It's not fake news. It's really here. We have a copy of the manifest here.
You know what? That manifest is fake news. Those photos are fake news. You, sir, are fake news. In fact, my opponent is fake news. It is actually me versus this. This campaign has been me versus the fake news for the last 26 years, and they're committing to making sure that we are going to be living in a communist state. We are going to take over China. We're bringing back jobs. We're building a big, beautiful wall to protect our Samoa Joes, our beautiful Samoa Joes, and our Dakotas. These are the tenets on which that this country was founded on, and I will be damn sure to protect it away from
Mr.
fake
Trump,
news like yourself and my opponent.
Excuse me, sir. Where are we? Who is this, and who are you?
He's fake news.
Senator Bobby Biden, we're here at the 2020 64-bit Legends presidential debate. You're debating your opponent here, President Melvin J. Trump, and I'm your mediator, T. the fucking monster.
Okay.
All right.
Now I'm back.
It's okay here. And so the question being, it was...
I have never touched any little Samoa Joes.
I've seen pictures of him. He's sniffing Samoa Joes left and right. He's getting his nose right into their Samoa Joe hair. They're beautiful. These nice, beautiful Samoa Joes.
Look. Just because the herbal essence in their hair smells nice doesn't mean you cannot sniff them.
You can't. That's a disgrace. My opponent is a disgrace. He's disgusting. He doesn't even know where he's at. He's only guided by the fresh scent
Mr.
of young Samoa Joes.
President Melvin J. Trump, we do have to let Senator Biden
The
speak.
Samoa
Thank you.
Joes are our
Thank
future.
you. Thank you.
He
Thank
was
you.
allotted 2 minutes uninterrupted.
Thank
You
you.
agreed before we started.
Thank you. Thank
Senator
you.
Biden,
thank
please.
You. Thank you, T the Monster. As the future president of the Boy Scouts of America, molestation of our children will stop. Sniffing, and I repeat, sniffing is not illegal, has never been illegal, and will never be illegal.
Senator Biden, and I appreciate your answer. However, we weren't talking about Boy Scouts nor popcorn in the question. The question was with human sex trafficking, the crisis being as rampant as it is in the United States of America, if elected president, what are you going to do to make plans to stop men such as Jeffrey Epstein, with whom you've been affiliated with?
I don't know who that is.
You know who Jeffrey Epstein
Well,
is.
we used to
knows
be in
who
the
he
same chess club.
Well, it shows as though
He was in the same chest club.
it shows as though that Mr. Epstein has you or had you on his flight manifest as well.
Yeah, to play chess.
We're going to move on to the next question.
But
I
however,
haven't. No.
However, regarding the human sex trafficking, in a Biden America, it will be eliminated.
I have a 3-point plan on how we're going to be able to end sex trafficking in the United States. Okay, we're going to solve it the same way
That won't work.
we've solved all of our beautiful roads all across this America, being able to control trafficking as a whole. It's not just making sure that we build up a nice, beautiful border wall across Canada and Mexico and China, but it's also we need to have sex traffic lights, okay? Green for go, red for stop, and orange just for the tip. Okay, if we can institute that across America, I believe we will be able to make this country safe and great again for all the sexes, male, female, trans, whatever you'd like to be. I don't care if you wanna be with a man,
President
with a woman,
Trump- President
a woman
Trump,
with
we-
a man,
we
a man
agree
with a
with-
transmission.
we agree.
I don't care.
In the past 47 years in my politician career, we have eliminated scratch and sniff magazines, and we will eliminate child molestation.
I don't know. I'm telling you, he doesn't want to believe that there's a sex trafficking. His solution to solve sex trafficking is to sniff the beautiful hair of young Samoa Joes in the future. What I'm instituting
That
is
has
a
never been proven. That
sex
has never been
traffic
proven.
light
That has
policy.
never been proven.
A sex traffic like policy is going to be the future of this. I have been the first president that was pro male to transmission in a vehicle sex in this country.
Mr. President, you have not done a thing for this in the last 4 years, and that's why the numbers are skyrocketing.
The numbers are great. They're big, beautiful numbers. You've never seen beautiful numbers like this in your life.
That's a
I've
lie.
seen 16,
Gentlemen,
17 numbers, 27
That's a
numbers.
lie. The people
I
of
can
America,
count to 100.
the
I can
people
count
of
to 100
America-
numbers.
Melvin, the people of America deserve the truth, and that is not the truth. Dr. Fauci said more kids get touched today that he sees for physicals, for their high school gymnasium sports than ever before.
Dr. Fauci doesn't know his asshole from a meatball.
gentlemen,
He has touched my nuts and told me that I have no hemorrhoids or anything else in that area. So I would appreciate if we use science to get rid of this molestation and this sex trafficking problem in America.
Senator Biden, we do appreciate both of your input and both of your answers. However, we have gone over the 2-minute allotted time for the answer, and due to that, we will move on to the
Wait,
next
I got to
question.
take another pill.
We will move on to the next question once you are done taking your medication. Next question being, of course, about climate change. With high emissions of toxins ripping through our air and affecting our climate and causing glaciers to melt and all types of issues within the ozone layer. Gentlemen, we're going to start this off on Senator Biden here. How do you plan to reduce these effects if elected president?
Have you ever been to Uganda? Because my running mate has.
Well, what is
So, if we could get the climate in America, like they do in Uganda, I think change is good. I change all the time, and so does the weather. When I was vice president to the Barack Obama, we hoped for change. And what happened? We got the change. It happened.
You got change. You got 16 cents in change out of the $1.50 that you had to spend.
I didn't get 16 cents in change because there's a change shortage, and that's from you, President Trump.
No, that's because more people want to spend dollars. This economy has been booming ever since. We can solve
You don't have any sense.
I have.
You don't have any sense.
I have 99 cents in my pocket right now, and I have 99 more.
I have 99 problems, but this debate is not one of them.
President Trump, you did agree to letting Senator Biden here continue uninterrupted for 2 minutes.
Yeah, thank you.
And so we are going to get to your answer, sir. We just want to.
What was the question again?
The question being dealing with climate change, with emissions and toxins ripping through our air and affecting our climate. How do you plan to reduce these effects if elected president?
Science and trees.
I've already planted 1 billion trees. Well, you can't get any more
can't-
trees than that.
Shut
I have
up,
1
man.
billion trees.
Can you shut up, man?
I have 1
Please?
billion trees. I have 1 billion trees
Shut
with a
up.
B. Billion with a B.
Gentlemen,
Billion with a B.
We are going to have Earth Day for 6 months of the year.
wow.
We will plant different trees, and we'll get the bees back. The bees run the climate.
Well, we do appreciate your answer, President.
Not Beyonce, the bees.
I understand. President Trump, it is on you.
Hove?
The question, President Trump, it is on you. The question about climate change with emissions of toxins running, with high emissions of toxins running through our air and affecting our climate. How do you plan to reduce these effects if you are to be reelected president?
Well, I've already told you we've been instituting a 1 billion tree policy. We're planting 1 billion trees all throughout the Dakotas and throughout China.
true.
We're
Not
going to
true.
be planting so many trees. It's going to be unbelievable. You've never seen as many trees as you will once we start planting these 1 billion trees. Secondly, as far as the bees are concerned, the bees know that I am the bee's knees, and that's why I have locked in the bee vote for this election. I know the bees will be coming out in swarms to elect me. And what have you done for the bees? How many bees support you? I'll tell you what. Maybe you get a couple honeybees.
I got
but
one bee. I got one bee that supports me, and he puts medium sleeves on large shirts.
Well, that bee, but you know what? That bee is not able to have sex with a flower and spread more
How do
trees
you know?
because
Science.
I've seen
Fauci has told me
Fauci's fake news.
Senator Trump,
He's-
you did
he's-
agree also to let President Trump get on 2 minutes uninterrupted to answer his
Did
question.
you just call me Senator Trump?
I'm sorry, Senator Senator Biden. I do apologize here.
There's
It's hard to keep up.
For a minute there, I thought I was Senator Trump.
It's hard to keep up here. I do apologize.
I am the bee's knees in the bee community. The bee community is the greatest community of all communities in the United States. In fact, I have created a brand new policy to be able to have a cash injection of funds to the bee community. We're going to support small bee businesses. We're going to be able to make sure that bees have more access to education.
You don't care
and
about the
also
bees.
that bees are able to easily afford and become homeowners themselves.
You don't-
We're going to do so much for the bees. It's going to be the most beautiful bee policy you've ever seen in your life.
You don't care about the bees because you need to treat the white bees just the same as the less privileged bees.
Well, listen. I like white bees. I like black bees. I like honey bees. I like red and yellow bees. I like all the bees. You know the bees I don't like? The Chinese bees. And we're going to take back China from the Chinese, and we're going to make sure that those bees are set free and are able to produce more honey for you and me. We're going to be able to fix this economy based on Samoa Joes dressed in beekeeper suits. We're going to implement all throughout the Dakotas a bunch of the beehives so we can generate our fuel. You talk about a Green New Deal. I'm talking about a yellow and gold New Deal based off of a honey economy.
I'm talking about the 3 Bs. Bobby Biden bees.
And I do appreciate your answer, Mr. Trump. However, it sounds as though you only spoke most about the bees and not to be, to trap you into any certain sticky situations.
Who am I debating? Am I debating you or am I debating him? Everybody's
it's-
coming at me.
I know. I just
It's
wanted
2
to make
against
su-
1 here.
Mr. Melvin, weren't there pictures of you killing bees?
I didn't ever kill a bee in my life. I
You
loved all
swatted
bees.
at bees.
Bees love me, and I love them.
You swatted at bees.
Well, I do.
Don't yell. Don't lie to the American people.
The bees love me. I think I've done more for the bee community during my 4 terms, my 4 years, than any other president in the history of the United States. Maybe second to Abraham Lincoln.
You know, and I do understand where you're coming from, Senator Trump. We are going to move on to our last and final question of the
Why don't
night.
you denounce the bees?
I don't denounce the bees. I love the bees.
Why don't you denounce the bee
I will.
haters?
I will not denounce. What bee? Who hates bees? I don't even know who hates
There's
bees.
a whole group out there called Antifa that hates the bees.
The Antifa. Well, you want me to say? Hey, you know what, Antifa? Go. Hey, suit up and stand aside and make sure you don't get stung, because the bees are here to stay. And if you get in the way, then you know what? The bees will have their day. And that's the campaign that I've been running on for 2020 this year. Keep America bee again.
Cabba?
Yeah. Yes.
We do apologize for some technical difficulties. Your mediator's fucking crying laughing. Oh my god. Last question of the night being, starting with you, Senator Biden. If
Oh, I get to go twice? I think I got the last one first.
I do apologize. Starting with you, President Trump. If reelected again for the next 4 years, can you tell us what your changes will, or what changes will be made, and how the next 4 years in America will be with you still as president?
The changes that are be sweeping through America are going to be simple. We have a 16-point plan that I'm going to outline for you right now. I told you before, we're going to be saving. We're going to be bringing back wealth to the bee community. We're going to make sure that we're going to rebuild the bee community that the Democrats, like my opponent here, have just demolished. Look at these cities that were run by
true.
Democrats,
Not
and
true.
look at what's happened to the bees in these areas. They don't exist. You couldn't find a flower to save your life in these places.
Not true.
And then
Not
as
true.
soon as we come in and we rectify it, it's flowers, sunflowers, and
These
all
are
kinds
lies,
of plants.
Senator Biden.
And on top of that, we're gonna bring back security to the Dakotas. We're gonna make sure that we implement more Dakotas. We're gonna take back China. We're gonna end this COVID-19, this Chinese plague, by working with the likes of Bill Gates to make sure we're implanting the proper chips to prevent that, so we can track and make sure that we're containing this plague that the Chinese have given to us here. And also, let's say this: I want to make sure that we're protecting the young Samoa Joes that are being generated through Vince McMahon's Samoa Joe project. We need to make sure that those Samoa Joes are taken care of. We need to institute sex traffic lights to make sure that those Samoa Joes are not going through the wrong sex traffic intersections and being taken advantage of. We're going to make sure that those are protected. In fact, we're going to lock down our borders. I'm going to get with Vincent Kennedy McMahon. You say he's your friend. Little did you know, we've been working on a Hell in a Cell setup for our border walls.
Lies.
Big, beautiful Hell in a Cell on both sides of all of our borders.
These are all lies, people.
And surrounded by a Punjabi prison. We will have a Punjabi prison going into the Atlantic and the Pacific.
Who are you going to have build that Punjabi prison if you don't allow foreigners here?
We're going to grow our own. We're going to grow Samoa Joes so we don't have to import these people from these shithole countries, and we're going to make sure that we take over
Mr. President.
China and India.
Mr. President, thank you. I was going to say that you had gone over your 2 minutes, and I do appreciate your answer, and I'm sure the Americans...
Bee lives matter.
I'm sure they do. I'm sure that they've been stinging around for many of years, and so many species of them just still haven't learned to work together. But so, Senator Biden, if you're elected president, what are you going to tell? How are your 4 years of your presidency going to be like?
Under a Bobby Biden administration, we are going to take back America. We've been living in a world of Trump Mimi, GIFs, LOLs, LaMayo's, AMGs, and Raffles. Our united nation will no longer be a joke for the world to laugh. As long as I'm awake and aware, so is our nation. We will limit the human sex trafficking by only sniffs and cuddles. Our foreign affairs, we will allow anyone to come to this great nation that we call the USA. USA. My running mate has got the Ugandan jungle under control. He has 2 stars on his titties and a moon on his belly and a tiki mask.
Well, we do appreciate,
And we're getting that WAP.
we do appreciate definitely the WAP, and we also appreciate your time and your time as well, President Trump. Here on the first 2020 64-bit Legends presidential debate. We appreciate you watching at home all over America, all over the United States. We appreciate everyone listening all over the world. Please be sure to go to the polls and vote because the president-elect, or the president, I'm sorry, and the president running, or however the fuck they call it, or whatever. They're 2 great candidates, and we want to make sure that we get the right person in office. And
Vote by mail.
Please make sure
Vote
you get
in
out
person. You get out there in person and vote.
No, you get by mail.
It's going to be a
Make
fraud.
sure you get out there and vote, whether if it's voting by mail, voting by carrier pigeon, voting by telegram, voting by messenger in the bottle, voting by text message, voting by Instagram post.
I want
voting
all
by
your
tweet.
votes by Morse code.
We want the votes in by Morse code. More importantly, we want our votes to be in hieroglyphics. Exactly. So we know exactly the
Where am
picture
I?
of who Joe Biden or
Who
sorry,
are you?
Biden.
Get out of my house.
Bobby Biden, we thank you for being here. And President Melvin J. Trump, we also appreciate you being here as well for the 2020 64-bit Legends debate. Good night, everybody. I really need a second, y'all. That shit was funny as fuck. I had to hold that shit in the whole time. Oh my god, that was fucking genius. Oh my god. That is the funniest shit I've heard all year, I swear. Please edit this shit out.
How did that turn into?
No, it was genius. It was fucking